This podcast is supported by 23andMe.ca, a personalized genetic service available in Canada. 23andMe reports provide genetic information based on a small saliva sample. Canadians can learn about their genetic information that published studies have associated with conditions and traits like celiac disease, cystic fibrosis, and even response to certain medications. More information is available at 23andme.ca.
Welcome to the BS Show. Are you ready to shoot the... The BS Show would like to thank their sponsors. Jack Cameron, accredited mortgage professional. Jack can show you the way home. Draco Impact Sports, providing top quality combat sport equipment tested and used by all levels of athletes. Dominate your world. RepoSales.ca, specializing in vehicle and equipment recovery, liquidation, and sales. Hemmings House Pictures, the global movement media makers, helping tell your brand story to the world and accelerate the momentum of your movement. Farmbox Films, capturing stories the way you want to remember them.
Carl, did you perhaps mute Rick and not yourself? You there, Rick?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, good stuff. I think Carl may have muted you temporarily, and he just brought you back in. How you doing, brother?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. I'm still hearing the BS music in the background, though. Oh, there we go.
Yes. I think Skippy fades that out usually, so a good point to bring up. We are not joined by our producer, Mr. Skippy Cohen, this evening. He had other obligations, and we have running the board the founder of MMA Madhouse, the whole reason that you and I, crazy as it is, are broadcast around the world every Monday night promoting mixed martial arts and combat sports in Atlanta, Canada, is Carl the Madman Mortensen. So I know Carl's got his hands full with some family and some business in the background, but he's running the board, producing the show, bringing in our guests, and you and I are left to entertain, bore, or otherwise revolt our listening audience.
Absolutely, and thanks very much, Carl, for stepping to the plate and getting us on the air tonight. And, of course, we're going to miss our captain, old Skippy. It's my boy. We're going to miss him. I was a little bit freaked out when I heard he wasn't going to be on the show tonight because we're losing our one and only professional. But then I got the good news of who we have coming on tonight as a co-host, and I think there's some hope for the show yet.
Carl just sent me a text. He said, oops, I turned you guys off and turned himself on. So for a minute there, it was the Madman show for about 30 seconds. So now we're actually live. So it's good stuff. Rick,
well, that's cool, Carl. I turn myself on every time I walk by a mirror, brother, so don't worry about it.
I was thinking about our conversation last week with Mike Williams about mixed martial arts finally coming back to New Brunswick, and they've been kind of popping up the internet with a whole bunch of news about MMA in New Brunswick. Apparently Cage Rage is going to try to get on the go in the summertime. I'm seeing call-outs for fighters, no real shows listed, but I'm looking for fighters in the spring, looking for fighters in the summer, looking for fighters in the fall. I know they got a show in St. John, New Brunswick, for the first time. I think that's as early as May 30th or June 1st. So those boys have been away for a while, but I tell you, they're coming back in a big way, in a strong way. I don't know where they're going to find all their fighters.
I'm excited about this, Boyd. I think this is going to bring a lot of attention to this part of the country, to this part of the world. Everything seems to be growing. We're growing as a community. We're working together to make this whole industry better and stronger in this area. I'm very excited that we're going to have a special co-host on tonight to help bring the folks in New Brunswick into this large umbrella that we're trying to develop here. Boyd, I got a couple of things I do want to talk about before we get underway. First of all, thank you, everybody, for all of the support that you've shown us in trying to grow this show. and with the expanding audience that we have at this point, we do appreciate it. Boyd, we skipped over things last week very quickly on ECC. There is one topic that I do want to discuss in the very near future, and that is the weigh-ins that happened at ECC 22. There was a lot of controversy that went into those weigh-ins. It's something that we should discuss. Unfortunately, with the show coming up in New Brunswick, and very quickly, we have focused our attention to try to profile those guys and give them some attention. But I do want to go back, and I do want to examine what happened at the weigh-ins in ECC 22, because, it wasn't fair to a lot of people, and I want to discuss it.
I'll tell you what, Rick.
What?
How about we do it this way? How about we spend the next couple of weeks promoting the Elite1 card taking place in Moncton, and then as soon as that's over, we have a show and we bring on our referee/judge expert for the BS show, Ken Wood, who would be intimately knowledgeable about exactly what went on there and why it went on, and also bring on Dr. Sabby D and talk a little bit about weight cutting and everything else around that as well. We can have sort of not promoting a specific event, but let's talk a little bit about the what would you call it, the commission, the regulation, and that part of the sport.
Exactly, and I mean, obviously our priority, Boyd, is try to profile these fighters, get the word out that the shows are going on, and give these guys some exposure. And we want to cover as much as we possibly can. So if you have upcoming events that you're going into or you're getting ready for, let us know, because that's what we're here to do and promote this type of thing. But, Boyd, I do want to go back, and I do want to do that show in the very near future. If I have one piece of advice for the fighters that are showing up in Moncton, know exactly what weight you need to be for your fight. Make sure that is clear. Make sure you have an answer, because of the goddamn mess that we saw down here, it was a travesty and a shame.
Yeah, and I mean, it sounds like a simple thing. What is the weight for my fight? Well, it's 150 pounds. You show up and you're 150 pounds. Well, that's awesome, no problem. But is it 150 pounds with shorts? Is it 150 pounds without shorts? Is it 150 pounds, and if I don't make it, I have another hour to make weight, which you see in a lot of places? Is it 150 pounds, and I don't get extra time, but the scale is set up an hour before the legal weigh-in time, and I can weigh myself in early? I mean, what happens if I'm slightly over? What happens if I'm over by more than a pound? You need to have your coach or somebody on your team contact the commission, especially considering this is the first promotion for this commission in New Brunswick. You need to call, and you need to get the documentation, and you need to get the answers to those questions, or you're going to be standing there sweaty, well, not sweaty, I guess, at that point, completely dehydrated, unable to think, with a bunch of commissioners telling you can't fight, you're losing some of your money, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and that's just horrible, horrible to see. I mean, emotions are running high enough at these weigh-ins anyway, right?
Yeah, and pardon my language, but that was a clusterfuck. Okay, when a fighter shows up, there should be no question on what his weight is going to be. Whether he weighs in early, if he gets a second chance to weigh in, if it's a pound over for shorts, if there's no pound because it's a title fight. It's a travesty that this happened, and I'm not going to point the finger at any fighters on this, because as far as anybody was ever concerned, or the majority of people were concerned, you were allowed 1 pound for your shorts. So a breakdown happened somewhere along the line, either if it was with the promotion or the commissioners or the fighters or a little bit of everybody. But this can't happen again.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's the regulations are there. It's just a matter of does the contract that the promoter puts out match exactly what the commission does and the way that they do their weigh-ins? And if it does match up, or if it doesn't match up, are the fighters aware of which of those they need to meet? Really good point to bring up, Rick. And you and I have seen this a number of times in regional promotions, and it's something that can be fixed with education. But people need to take it upon themselves to go out and get that information. Or, like I said, they're going to be standing there really pissed off on weigh-in day, and that doesn't help anybody's fight.
I love what you're saying, Boyd. I'd love to have Ken on because he was one of my favorite guests of all time. This guy knows this business, and he's good for this business. I'd love to have him on there to discuss that. I love what you're saying about bringing the doc back on because this weight cut thing, I want to discuss this. And I would like to see us be proactive in this area because I think the weight cuts are a crock, man. They're a joke, and I think people are hurt over this. So I can't wait to talk about that. The third thing I want to talk about, Boyd, is I want to get somebody on from this commission. I want to know what this commission is all about and who are they. Who do they answer to? What are their responsibilities? I'd like to get some answers on this stuff because what I see all the time are promotions and commissioners and fighters all bumping heads. And this has got to stop. And people have got to start getting along. So I want to get their perspective. I want to understand where they're coming from, and how do people get onto these commissions, So that's very important to me. And when they make a mistake, how is this corrected? How is this changed? And I think as we start to talk about this whole weight cutting thing in the near future, this in my mind is going to happen. These folks need to be involved in that discussion as well.
Yep, and not only the weight cutting, but I mean if you take the incident with the knee at the end of round 5, or the middle of, I should say, round 5 of the Matt McGrath and Richard Arsenault fight. Obviously, there's controversy there as well. I mean, number one, was the knee legal or illegal? We're going to have the video back from the Bell Alliance pretty soon, and we'll be able to tell pretty easily if it was legal or illegal. And I heard some people who looked at it on iPhone and whatnot, and they said Richard's hands had just come off the ground. So technically, by the letter of the law, it was legal. It was a fine knee, but the fight was stopped as if it was an illegal knee. Richard was given his 2 or 3 minutes to recover, and then they restarted the fight. When if you're Matt McGrath, you should be pissed off at that. You threw a perfectly legal knee, and then you finished the fight with a big overhand right. Fight should be over. Why do I have to fight Richard Arsenault for another 3 or 4 minutes? From Richard Arsenault's point, if it wasn't an illegal knee, well, he was given a break. So, again, that's something that shouldn't have happened. If the referee stepped in, a point should have been taken from Matt McGrath. You can't step in, stop the fight, and then say, oh, never mind, I made a mistake, everybody go, keep fighting. That can't happen. It needs to be stop the fight, make a penalty, or don't stop the fight and let Matt McGrath finish the fight with the big overhand right. So, yeah, certainly more than one thing to talk about, Rick.
Exactly, and if a referee does make a mistake, what are the repercussions of that? And these are the things that we need to discuss because we have here in this province a commission that was adapted from boxing to mixed martial arts. Okay? Sure. There was no one that came from mixed martial arts into that commission. And these folks, and I'm not bashing them in any way, shape, or form, I'm just stating a fact. There is a breakdown here. There is a miscommunication. This needs to stop. Because
that's not unique to Nova Scotia. It's not unique to Nova Scotia. They have it everywhere. And I will interject and say, listen, man, these guys the referees specifically have probably the hardest jobs in the sport. Their job is harder than the damn fighters to get in there and to be able to see absolutely everything that's happening on both sides, two fighters employing God only knows how many different techniques and martial arts and everything else, and then to be able to call that action and ensure that it meets the unified rules of mixed martial arts is a phenomenally difficult job. But we need to make sure that the proper steps are being taken so that those guys, those referees, can do the best job that they can. And as you've pointed out before, I'm not 100% sure that that's happened to this point.
I'm not disputing anything you have to say, Boyd. I know they do a good job, and I appreciate it from being on the other side. They do the best they can. But is the best job being done is what I'm saying. And can there be changes? There can be changes to everything at any time to make improvements, and I think it's something that we need to discuss down the road. And
we'll do. Okay, let's jump right in. Our first guest is, in fact, not a guest at all. She was, at one point, she was our very first guest. Miss Amy Pidt is a resident of New Brunswick. She is an MMA fighter. She is a mother of 2 extremely rambunctious boys. She is an entrepreneur, and she is extremely passionate about MMA, and she is now officially the BS Show correspondent covering mixed martial arts combat sports in New Brunswick. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, and what an honor. Absolutely. I couldn't be more excited to be that correspondent for you guys. It's really great. Really, really excited about it.
Fantastic. Listen, people are probably haven't gone all the way back to show number 1 to listen to your interview. So let's give people a little introduction to who you are, where you came from, and how you ended up fighting in a cage.
Well, I guess I'm from Alberta. I came out here in my 30s, and I only started then. Yeah, I came here, and I had my first office job, which was pretty intense for me because I'm not much of a sitter. So I found a little hole-in-the-wall gym, and I went in to see what was going on, if he could help me out at lunchtime so I could work out. And it happened to be an amazing jiu-jitsu gym in St. John run by Britt Nickerson. And that's where I started. It was a Friday. He started me on Monday, and I just fell in love, got a passion for the sport, moved to Moncton, started training with Spitfire, Muay Thai, and Victory Jiu-Jitsu, and just fell in love. So I wanted to do my first fight. It was the day before my birthday, so that was good. That was a nice win. It was a really happy birthday day, and I've had another one, and I hope to fight again this year. So. Really? Yeah. I thought I was done, but I really.
Last time I talked to you on the show, you basically didn't seem like you had a whole lot of interest in getting back in there. Let's back it up a little bit. Everybody rushes through their story. I want to slow it down a little bit. Were you an athlete before? Did you have any experience in martial arts or any kind of a contact sport before you walked in and started training with Britt?
Not really. No, I was always just active. I've always kind of stayed in shape. I guess I did volleyball. Not really the same. I hit stuff.
Not quite the same.
Not quite the same. So I did touched a little bit of kickboxing in Alberta, but nothing substantial, right? Nothing that really counted. So yeah, it was pretty much all new once I came here. But I just fell in love, really enjoyed it, and I've just had the honor to train with some amazing people. So it's hard not to just get right sucked into the sport too.
Well, I was lucky enough to be in the audience during your last fight when you fought Amanda Robinson, and I got to say there was hardly an ass touching a seat at the end of your fight. The both of you just put 100% of yourselves on the line. It was an absolutely fantastic, exciting fight. So super excited to hear you're getting back in. Although I think you were throwing some spinning shit, as the Diaz brothers would call it, and broke your arm recently.
I did. So I just went to the doctor a month in, and he was amazed because I guess it's a really hard bone to heal, but I am healing extra fast, he said, so I only have to wear it when I'm training and drinking. So far, so good. It's looking really good.
It's your drinking and training cast. Was it your ulna that you broke?
Yeah, it is. So I just fractured it.
Yeah, that's the bone. That's the bone that I broke in my fight as well.
Oh, really? Oh, look at that.
Nothing as cool as a
similarities.
spinning back fist. Nothing as cool as a spinning back fist. I forgot to pull it out from under a guy when I dropped him on the mat.
Oh, ouch. Yeah, mine is a kind of a cool story, so at least there's that.
Yeah. Rick, jump in for a minute, and then we're going to move right on to MMA in New Brunswick.
Oh, is Rick there? May I speak to him for a sec?
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Jump right in.
Sorry, I didn't know he was still there. Rick, congratulations, dude. I'm so jacked up about your win. That's really good. I haven't been able to talk to you personally, so congratulations. I'll let you talk.
Well, thanks very much, Amy, and it's an absolute pleasure and an honor to have you on here. I'm a big fan of yours. You know, I used to listen to you every morning on 103, so it's great we finally have a chance to talk. And it's great that you've come into this umbrella of the BS show and start giving the point of view from New Brunswick. So welcome to the show, and you're a great addition. Thank you.
Thank you.
For me personally, it's a great honor to work with a professional, you know, in this industry for a change, and a fellow fighter. So, you know, for me, this is a win-win. Because you know what I have to put up with most nights.
I hear you.
I'm still a bit staggered by Boyd's shock that there'd be drinking during a training camp. To me, that's a food group. So anyway.
Exactly, dude.
Amy, I know there's a million things that we could talk about. I want to just I'm going to let Boyd ask you the questions on the upcoming fights. I want to know the situation on the commission up there and how that all came together. Do they seem to be functioning well in New Brunswick right now?
Well, what I heard you talk about earlier is hearing from your commission, and we got the same thing here. It's a new commission, and we need to hear more from them. That's exactly it. And what we have right now is, with this new commission, such a great opportunity to have that, to start things off on the right foot. So that's what I'm hoping for. So far, I'm not knowing much about the commission itself. I'm knowing there is a new commission, and that we're excited to see the new commission. And, I mean, obviously, I like to be the glass is half full and hope this new commission is night and day different, right? Like that we have what we need. But what we need, and we have this opportunity, is to start here with the good communication and to open that up and to know more about each other, which is lacking at this moment.
Okay, yeah, so I know you're going to get up to cover the fights. Do you know if you're going to get up to cover the weigh-ins? Because that's really where you're going to see sort of how much poop in a group the commission actually has, is right there at the weigh-ins.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be there.
Awesome.
So is this a new group of commissioners? I mean, you had one before which was just for the city of Moncton, am I correct?
Right. There was a boxing, which was basically the boxing commission that was just Moncton. So that's where MMA was legal. And now MMA is legal through New Brunswick. So, yeah, so at least we've got that expansion right there because they're doing shows in St. John. I know Elite, the show that we're going to be talking about today, the Awakening here on March 21st, they are also going to be having a show in St. John. So I believe they have 5 shows booked now. So that's wonderful for the province.
When the government stepped in, they dissolved the commission that you had, wasn't it? They came in and shut them down, and then they formed a new commission that was done by the government?
Yeah. Right,
okay.
Right.
And how was that selection process? Do you know? Did they take people
I am
that were there?
unclear on that even.
Or?
I really don't have many details about the commission, unfortunately. I'd like to be able to fill in more, and I don't want to do hearsay, right? Because I've heard things.
Okay. Now,
from
Rick, your point,
listen to the woman.
Ask this one last one, Boyd, and then you can fire away, okay? One complaint that I had heard many, many times about New Brunswick MMA is that they felt that the medicals were too lax there, that they weren't, guys were showing up. This is completely hearsay, but not with the proper blood work or medicals being done. Do you have anything that you can shed on that at all?
That has been changed. I know that. I don't know if it's still, I can't compare to other provinces. I'm not too sure if it's up to where other ones are sitting, but I know it has been increased in the intensity or that it has to be done right. It's not as lackadaisy, let's say, as it was for sure.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Boyd.
Yeah, Rick, I can definitely add to that one. I did ask Peter Martell about this the other day when I was getting sort of his thoughts about MMA coming back to New Brunswick and whatnot, and I asked what he knew about the commission, and the only comment that he had was he knew that the commission up there, when it was formed, consulted very heavily with Mickey McDonald and the existing commission here in Nova Scotia. So from a regulation standpoint, I would expect to see things up there fairly similar to what we have here. Whether or not they would sort of take a close look at those and tweak it because they saw some gaps or some errors or some things that they want to do differently, I don't know. But they would certainly be working off the Nova Scotia regulations, and those are some of the most stringent in the country.
Here's my big concern on that, and I mean, it's not really a concern because obviously the fighter's welfare and health is paramount, but some of the difficulties that we go through down here in the 23rd hour, with something that's not done or the doctor doesn't accept and, all hell breaks loose. If this is their first time going through that process up there, it could be a lot of trouble for a lot of fighters and the promotion.
I have exactly the same thought. I mean, Peter Martell and the other people who've promoted in Nova Scotia know what that process is like, and they've all run into the exact same challenges. And for some reason, it doesn't seem to get any easier. I mean, we're on ECC 22 just went by, 22 shows, and we're still scrambling down to the wire to get people past their medicals and able to fight on these cards. So, yeah, I mean, again, I'm like Amy, a glass half full. I'm really hoping everyone's done their homework. I know Mike does a phenomenal job. I was talking to Kent Peters and a number of people at the most recent show, and they were talking so highly of Mike Williams and what a good show he puts on, and they were so looking forward to seeing the shows coming up. But, like you say, Rick, if the regulations and especially the medical requirements are so strict, it makes it very difficult to get all that stuff from a general practitioner. I mean, they don't want to order all those crazy tests.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's keep our fingers crossed. If you're a fighter listening to this show, or you're a coach, or you're a manager, please make sure that you are getting all the medicals that you require. Get them to the promoter as quickly as possible, because we know, we've seen it, how quickly these things can unravel. And your fight's off. You're there, you're dressed, you're ready to go, and your fight's now canceled. And that's horrible to see.
I'm going to drop this piece of knowledge, and I got up on my soapbox before. You guys can go back a few shows and listen to that, but I'm not going to do it again. But I will tell you this. I did start talking to Wade Graves and Peter Martell for ECC to find out a little bit more about how many matchups that they make where the two fighters say they're going to fight, how many of those people actually step into the cage. And they said it was far, far less than 50%. So if you're a fighter, if you say, hey, boys, guess what? I'm fighting on such and such a card on such and such a date, there is less than a 50% chance that that's going to happen. And that is horrible because, you know, you and I and Amy know how hard fighters train, and the coaches, how hard they work, and how many family members and friends and everything support them. So for people to put that much energy and support into somebody and then the fight not happen is terrible, and it happens more than 50% of the time. So we need to find a way to take care of that.
Absolutely, we do. Even one of the gentlemen that's fighting on this card, Ryan Porter, actually, he's had his last 7 fights scrapped in the past year and a half.
Wow, that's right up there with Pat Carroll.
That's
Pat
how do
Carroll
you
is the
sleep
guy
at
that I
night
know
with
here
that,
in Nova
right?
Scotia. Same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's jump into the upcoming card. Amy, I know you've done your homework. I said to Rick, she's a pro. I'm sure she's prepared. You want to do this one from bottom top or from top to bottom?
Yeah, I was thinking from bottom top would be good. We'd start with, oh man, I'm so excited about this card. I cannot wait. So this is, and it's Elite's first one since March 21st. Since December 7th.
There's only one fight. There's only one fight we're going to skip. And that's the first one, Nathan Burk versus Jonah McDonald. Because
that's right, that makes sense.
We're bringing Nathan on right after you, and he might be listening.
Okay, right. Well, I don't want to do that. I don't want to misquote him. I'd be in trouble.
No, we'll bring him on. We'll bring him on after, and we'll break down his fight just before we get off the show. So let's jump right into the card. Take 10 or 12 minutes and buzz right through that sucker.
Sounds good. Okay, we got Cody Glode, and he's from Truro, Nova Scotia, and he's fighting Adam McDougall. So they're both 0-0. Adam McDougall's out of Fredericton. So I didn't get a chance to speak to Adam, but I did get a chance to chat with Cody. And he is feeling really great. He's had a really good camp so far. He's worked hard as always. So there's been a lot of improvement.
Do you know if he trains out of Merrimack or if he trains out of the Gracie BJJ club in Truro?
I don't have that information. I never asked him that.
Okay.
I'm not sure which camp. That's one thing. And then, so he's got a lot of improvements, he said, over the last couple months. So he's really excited about it. He's feeling really good. So it's really good to hear. I guess everyone I've talked to, they're feeling really good. So our next fight would be Jericho McPhee, and it was just him on the card when I got it. So he spoke to Mike Williams, the promoter, this weekend, and they have found him a guy in Ontario now. There's nobody I mean, fighters love fighting. But I swear there's no one that loves it like Jericho. So Mike told him he has a guy from Ontario, didn't tell him the name, the game, his record, anything, and he just said, I'm in. I love it. The guy just loves he just loves to fight. So his camp, he said, is smooth as usual. He actually was able to go out to Calgary. He went there from September until this September and trained with some people out there. So he trained with Tim Blanchard, and he trained with a number 1 ranked amateur flyweight in Western Canada, Sam Franchi, and the top 170-pound Mac Larson, so at the MMA University. So he says he's got a lot of new tricks up his sleeve, so I cannot wait for that. Yeah, it's gonna be a great fight. Yeah. And then we have Jeff Griffith.
Those boys are nasty.
Oh, aren't they amazing? And
they are.
Great
I
for
love watching
too.
those guys fight. Yeah, I love watching those guys fight. And anytime that Gavin Tucker drops a name in my ear, I really pay attention. And he mentioned those guys to me before. He's so impressed with the way they fight.
Oh yeah, it's amazing, and just good people, good guys, love the sport, just great people. Can't say enough good about them. The next amateur bout will be Jeff Griffiths versus Ryan Potter. So Jeff, I never got a chance to speak to him, but I got to speak to Ryan. Again, feeling really good, just cannot wait to fight. He's very excited to be on this first Elite show back at the casino with the new commission. So that's it's really nice to see that excitement, right, with that commission. That's why we got our glass half full, right? We're hoping everything's just going to be really good with that. His training's good.
Yeah, we've
had
a chance to meet Ryan. We've had a chance to meet Ryan a couple of times down here in Halifax, and he's just an absolutely super guy. Rick, Ryan's the guy that saved the Fight First card by taking a fight on 15 minutes' notice. Quite literally put his beer down, went out to his car, grabbed some MMA gear, came in and signed a contract, and away we went. So just an absolutely phenomenal guy. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he's vegan. We got to get him on here. He seems like a pretty interesting cat.
He sure is.
Awesome. So that's the same guy we talked with his 7-fight scrap.
He's a stud.
Yeah, absolutely. Just you can't ask for a better guy.
That's awesome. All right, then the next one we have is Matthew Mazeral versus Trent Moses. So Matthew is 1-0. He's from DF. He trains with me, so I can't be too biased. But he's awesome. he's not good with interviews. He doesn't like selling himself, so I had to kind of tug and pull some information out of Matthew. But he's in the best shape of his life. It's unbelievable, and he's always been amazing. His ground game is phenomenal. He feels like 1,000 pounds when he's laying on you with jiu-jitsu. It's unbelievable. But he's working so hard. He's got a great training camp, the best coaches. He's just looking so forward to stepping in the cage. He couldn't be more focused. Just seeing him at the gym, he's just completely ready for this. So very excited.
And what do you know about Trent Moses?
Trent's ready. I know a little bit about him. He's 0-1. He trains out of Fredericton. He gave me a quick little bit. He said he's ready. He's prepared for anything. His training camp could not have gone better. He's focused. He's excited. It's in for a great night. So that is going to be a fight to see. That's going to be such a great fight. Both guys are just ready to go.
Do you know what gym he's training at?
Trent is?
Yeah.
Or Matthew?
Trent.
Oh, Trent. No. I just know he's training out of Fredericton, so.
Cool. We'll have to dig through that. I wonder if he's a synergy boy up there with Dana Dickinson and those guys.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, too. He's either with that or with Evolution up there.
Yeah. Okay. We'll have to dig into that.
Yeah,
cool.
I should have dug through the gyms, but I was so busy talking to him. I get so excited.
You're all into the fighters. We're all into promoting the gyms.
I know.
Stuff.
Hey, I should be more focused. Well, this is good. This is my first run, so I know now. I think
the next fight on the card is my favorite fight of the entire night, to be 100% honest.
Really? So the Jeremy Henry?
Yeah.
Jeremy Henry versus Sean
Wallace.
So have you seen both of them fight?
I have seen both of them fight, and we had Sean Wallace on the show last week, and I was just so incredibly impressed with that guy when I saw him fight before. He's 4-0. So anytime I see an undefeated fighter, I get super interested. And Jeremy Henry is basically twice his experience, has twice the time in the ring. So, I mean, how is it going to play out? Is it going to be the guy who doesn't know how to lose, or is it going to be the guy that's far more experienced and knows how to get out of and into every situation that you can encounter in an MMA cage? So, yeah, I'm really intrigued by that one.
That's it, hey, isn't it? It's exciting when it's like that. You just don't know how it's going to go. So I never got a chance to speak to Sean, but I did speak to Jeremy, and he's just stoked to get back in the cage. Like you said, he's got so much experience in there. It's his home away from home. So he had a long layoff. It's been 3 years. So it's been a while since he's fought, but he's still training, still competing in the time frame in kickboxing matches, grappling tournaments. So he's still in the game, just not in the cage. He's back on track mentally. He feels good. Physically, he feels good. His training's just going good. His strength, his conditioning is all where he wants it to be. He's added more weight this time. So his last fight was with Gavin Tucker. He felt like he wasn't strong enough in that one, so he really worked on that part of his game, right?
Gavin Tucker.
Yeah.
There's no shame in losing to Gavin Tucker. End of quote.
Yeah, there you go. But it helps you work on your strength, right? So anything like that, it's always a good one.
Absolutely. Co-main
so next
event.
would actually, co-main event. So that is the featherweight bout. That is Justin Bourgeau versus Tommy Cote. So Justin, I've seen him fight a lot. I've seen him fight a lot of boxing. I've seen him fight a lot of MMA. He didn't get back to me, but I know he's ready. I see him all the time on Facebook. I see his posts and stuff too. So obviously he's fighting out of Cumberland MMA. He's an amazing fighter. He's really focused and just a nice guy. Just such a mellow, nice, shy guy outside of the cage. I love that. It's like an enigma. So, I know he'll be really good.
The guy who's fighting Tommy Cote, I think, was possibly one of the names that was thrown around to fight on the last ECC card. I don't know, but if he was thrown around as an opponent for Gavin Tucker instead of David Bo Williams, who eventually fought him at ECC 22. So if he was looked at as a re-entry fight for Gavin Tucker, he's obviously a game opponent.
Oh, absolutely. And they're like Justin is 6-5, right? And Tommy's 5-4. So that part's really exciting too. Like how close that is. They both got a lot of experience. They both, they're both really comfortable in the ring and really close records. So I'm jacked up about that too. Going to be so exciting.
Sweet. Main event.
Big boys. Yes. Oh, so good. Chris Johnson. 5-5 from Moncton. He'll be defending his Elite1 MMA light heavyweight title against Adam Hunter, who is 3-1 and 2-0 in amateur in Fredericton. So he's got the experience. He's got not as much experience, I guess, in the pro level. But I know, again, I have the amazing opportunity to train with Chris. Little less this training camp, obviously, with a broken arm, unfortunately, but he looks amazing. He's feeling good. A great training camp. Like he said, there's no way anyone's trained harder than him and sacrificed more than him. He just wants to get in there and show him what he can do. And I've seen what he can do.
And Adam Hunter is like some kind of a beast. He's never in his life been out of the first round of a fight. And the last time he stepped into a cage was here in Halifax at ECC 18. He fought an extremely tough fighter from out in Calgary, or Fort McMurray, Teddy Ash, and he knocked him out in 6 seconds. So, I mean, that guy just throws hell for leather every time he gets in the cage. So let's hope Chris is extremely prepared and takes him pass around for the very first time in his career.
Oh, so excited. Hey, aren't you just jacked right up about this?
Listen, my wife told me like 5 days ago that she's going to be in Tennessee for a week, and it overlaps the card in New Brunswick, and I'm not going to be able to go, and I was rotted that I wasn't going to be up there to see that.
Yeah, I know, dude. I feel your pain. But, also I win.
Yeah, make sure your ass doesn't get sore sitting cage side there.
That's right.
Yeah, and Carl Carl the Madman Mortensen is producing this show for us tonight. We're going to get Carl to hook you up with whatever you need to post live results, tweet out results, and whatever else we can do to get the word out about Elite One through the MMA Madhouse and Global Combat Network networks, so that we can start really getting a global eye on what we're doing here in Atlantic Canada for mixed martial arts.
Beautiful. And, like, the caliber of fighters, like, it's just unbelievable, really, when you look at what we got here. The way people are training, the way people are ready, the way people are prepared, it's going to be amazing. It's at a level that you cannot believe for, the smaller venue, smaller town. It's right up there.
Yeah, Rick talks about this all the time, that here in Atlantic Canada, we just have a hotbed of MMA, and with Elite One out of the picture for a while, I think maybe people really weren't realizing exactly what we had here, but that's about to change in the next 12 to 18 months. I mean, it's going to be crazy. I threw out the crazy idea last show. I think we give Elite One 18 months or so to get up and running, get all their champions belted, and then we have ECC versus Elite One in PEI, first legal show of mixed martial arts on the island. Pack about 5,000 or 6,000 people into one of their venues over there and have champion versus champion.
Oh, yeah. Woo!
The winners all go to the UFC or one of the big shows.
Love it. Love it.
Boy, did I hear you right? We're not going to Moncton? I thought you said we were going to Moncton.
Oh, I thought I sent you this, brother. I can't go. My wife is going to be out of town that whole week, and I'm home with 3 little kids. So I can do. I don't know if you want to grab the calculator and buzz up the road, but.
Okay, well, you got to keep me informed of these things. That's your job, because I had,
Sorry, brother,
I was really looking.
Listen, like I said before the show, I'm not your fucking wife.
Well,
no fighting on air, bitches.
Well, I'm sorry, buddy, but you just inherited the role in a non-sexual way. There's nothing you can say about it.
I got the important part right.
I really wanted to go to Moncton's because I wanted to go to Angie's, but anyway, I'll deal with that later with the calculator.
Listen. I'm sure Miss Pitt will show you a good time if you go up there. She'll keep you out of too much trouble.
Oh, hell yeah.
She's got to be more entertaining than you, that's for sure.
Cool. Well, yeah, Amy's going for sure. Mike did say that he had 2 seats, 2 press passes for us. I think Judo John Williams, who's also going to be covering the MMA for us, is not able to make the show, I don't believe.
No, he's not able to make it, but I'll be there. And I got a partner in crime that's coming with me, so don't you worry, it's all covered.
Good stuff. Look forward to the updates, Amy.
Absolutely.
We'll do the next
Thanks
one,
for having me on today.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, and we really look forward to all of the reporting from Elite1 Awakening in Moncton on March 21st.
Woo!
Anyway, feel free to stick around. We're going to bring Nathan Burk on, and I'll invite you to pop in and have a quick chat with him as well. Holy
Sounds
crap.
Great.
It's like almost 11:15 already. This is insane. Okay, Carl, I think tweeted to me that Nathan is in the queue. Nathan, are you unmuted? Can we hear you?
Hello?
Yeah, we got you. Thanks, man.
Okay.
Sorry to leave you there in the lurch all that time.
That's all right.
Okay, I got to put a word out to all fighters in Atlantic Canada who want to promote themselves, who want to promote their gyms, who want to give some attention to their sponsors, and want to grow the sport of MMA. Reach out to the BS show. That's exactly what Nathan did. He reached out. He said, hey, anytime you want me for the show, just let me know. And here he is on the show right now. Brother, we were so impressed with your performance at ECC 22. Give people a little bit of information on who you are, how long you've been training, where you train, and then we'll chat a little bit about your first fight.
Yeah, my name is Nathan Burk. I train at Wulfrun MMA in Cornwall, PEI. I've been training I was out for a year and a half because I had both my knees operated on, but I started training in 2011, and it's been my thing since then.
So you've been training since 2011. You had both your knees scoped. So you're obviously, in your late 30s, early 40s?
No, I'm 19 years old.
You are what we refer to as a baby. but you have far more mat time and experience than probably the three of us people here, and I won't say our ages, combined.
Thanks.
What drew you into mixed martial arts? Like, how did you end up, number one, wanting to train it, and then number two, actually stepping into the cage and fighting?
I just watching UFC and stuff when I do middle school and starting in high school, and then I heard about a gym. It's not the same gym now. Earlier it used to be. We used to train at a judo club in Charlottetown, and I started training there, and then we moved to Paul Abel moved down to PEI, and he became a coach and opened a new gym up in I think 2011 or 2012. And then we have a really good team there.
Rick, you've had a chance to get over and meet Professor Abel and a number of the guys in the gym. Do you want to jump in and have a quick chat with Nathan?
Yeah, Nathan, thanks so much for coming on the show. We appreciate it. So close to your fight. It's a real privilege to have you on here. We just first heard your name here a few weeks ago, kicked around. Eager guy out of Wulfrun, wants to fight, will fight anybody. Of course, we raised some eyebrows. Then we saw one hell of a performance from you at ECC 22. We knew you're the real deal. Of course, you were coming out of a gym like that, no question. What is it like as a fighter to be in a gym with so much talent surrounding him?
Yeah, it's really good because they give a lot of guidance, like Sean Wallace, Coach Paul Abel, Matt McGrath, Jason Sago, Morgan Reines, Brandon Chason, a bunch of other guys, and they train hard. Number one, they'll teach you every technique you need to know, but also like the business side of things. They guide you, they set you up. They tell you like how to do everything. It's really good. Everybody. They just set you up good with like the business side and the training side.
One other quick question before I hand you back. As the fight approaches, how do you deal with that mentally? What thoughts are going through your head? Does it bother you? Or if it doesn't, how do you deal with it?
Yeah, that's the thing. Some guys, it bothers them and stuff. They get cranky or get kind of nervous. I get nervous just like everybody else for sure. But I try to have fun with it, like I'm not doing this to be mad or angry or anything like that. I try to have fun. When I get bumped up a week before my fight, I put a smile on my face, ice it up, and think positive. You know what I mean? Like have fun before the fight, at the warm up, after the fight. Leave it all in the cage, so it's not so you're not regretting anything. You know what I mean? Just work on everything. You just got to leave it all in the cage, that's for sure. That's what I learned my last
Well, man, you left it all in the cage at ECC 22 because I know you did not have an opportunity to fight your original opponent. Your original opponent was supposed to be Steve Ford, who I think was another 0-0 amateur fighter. And I did a bit of research on both of you guys, and I thought it was a fantastic matchup, and I thought it was going to be a great fight. And then, as we discussed earlier in this show, things happen, fights don't work out, and you ended up fighting.
Especially at the amateur level, too, especially for their first amateur fight. A lot of people duck in and out, and medicals or work things or anything, whether it's their fault or it's not their fault. It happens a lot, for sure. I went through a few opponents. I went through Stephen Ford, and then an Akitoshi, and then Rick Doyle opponent, Peter Campbell. Then it went to Kyle Blinkhorn. So he was my fourth opponent, and I accepted it like three days, Wednesday night, and the fight was Saturday night.
And what a talent he is.
Yeah, and I mean, anybody doesn't know, Kyle Blinkhorn is an absolute stud, and he's he was probably walking in the cage that night 2 weight classes above you?
I don't think it was that much. We were the same height, but he was just a lot thicker and stronger, and but I don't know, but I think he could make. He's a big 155er, but I think he could make 155. And it was a really good opponent for my first guy though. I underestimated his jiu-jitsu a lot. Like he had really good jiu-jitsu. He couldn't really take me down, but I was making huge mistakes on dropping for chokes, and then I had to go on the ground with him, and I couldn't really gas me out a bit. He's really experienced.
Yeah, and
really good.
I haven't had a chance to listen to it myself yet, but I'm really interested to hear the playback of the live stream of that event, because I was fortunate enough to have an opportunity to call that event, and I remember calling it and noticing the fact that you were, for a lot of the fight, being the aggressor. You were the one sort of initiating the whether it be the clinch or the striking or attempting submissions, and it was Kyle's strength, and it was his ability on the ground and his size that enabled him to wear you down slowly, and that's why he was able to control enough of the fight to get the decision. But man, absolutely no shame in that. An absolutely fantastic fight, and I have no doubt you're going to come back far better as a result of it.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm not taking anything away from Kyle, but he had a lot of experience, and I was calm and stuff, but I didn't. I should have just broke off and did my, I just broke off and kept standing with him, but I was dropping for chokes, and he was just landing on top, and he's a legit blue belt for sure. He competes a lot at jiu-jitsu tournaments and stuff, and he's a gamed opponent for sure.
Yeah,
Amy,
that's one focus boy. I know Kyle. I've trained with him a few times. He's come up to Moncton Spitfire too, and that boy's focused. He's like you said, he's legit. He's legit with his blue belt, and that's and I love to hear your attitude. It's amazing. You took nothing but learning from it, so that's hats off to you. That's awesome.
Yeah, very good experience with him.
So tell us a little bit about the upcoming fight.
Yeah, I have an upcoming fight at 145, my actual weight class, with a Jonah McDonald. He's 0-0 from St. John. I don't know anything about him, and so I just kind of got to try to finish him on the feet. If that's not working for me, I got to clinch up, try to take his back, just try to grapple with him. And but I just kind of got to go wing it because he's unknown.
Rick, how much are you liking that?
Oh, I'm loving it, man. I'm loving every aspect of this interview.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I also
Peter
known
Martel.
about Joan.
Sorry, jump in.
I tried with Joan McDonald as well to get a hold of him, and he's unknown. He's a mystery man, so I have no information to share with you either.
Hopefully shows up.
As long as he shows up, everything is good.
There we go.
Anything can happen to fight, but I'm always pretty confident. Like going with Kyle Blinkhorn, I'm never going to promise to win because anything can happen, and nobody's unbeatable, especially me. I'm 0-1, but I'm always going in pretty confident.
Well, brother, Peter Martel said to me in the days leading into your fight, and not only the days but the weeks leading into ECC 22, he's like, I got to find a fight for this kid over in Wulfrun because he tells me he'll fight anybody. He said he's literally begging me for a fight, and we can't have too many guys like you, brother.
Yeah, all my fights were dropping out, and I had to bug Peter because I didn't want to. I had the training camp, right? I wanted to get my first fight out for sure.
Fantastic. Well, you know what? I would love for, after you've had your experience fighting on this card, you'll have fought in very close succession for ECC and for Elite 1 and under the Nova Scotia Boxing Authority and under the New Brunswick Combat Sports Authority. I'd love to get you back on the show, talk a little bit about how that whole process worked for you as a fighter when it comes to matchups and when it comes to losing opponents and when it comes to the weigh-ins and how the event is organized and the reffing and everything, and get your sense of sort of like what are the differences between the two promotions and maybe get some advice on how we can make this whole sport better in Atlantic Canada.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Awesome, brother. Well, take a few minutes, give a shout-out to your gym, your supporters, your sponsors, and anybody who helps you do what you do.
Yeah, just a shout-out to all my teammates at Wulfrun, Sean Wallace, Lance Campbell, Jason Sago, Matt McGrath, Morgan Reines, Coach Paul Abel, my girlfriend Kathleen, and all my friends and family that supports me, all my teammates at Wulfrun.
You didn't forget your girlfriend. Good boy.
No, never.
Well done, man. Good luck in your fight, and we look forward to hearing from you soon. Take care.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Super nice guy.
Awesome.
Super nice guy.
Yeah, absolutely nice guy. I tell you, Paul Abel is like a small planet attracting everything around him with positive gravity. I tell you, he's making quite a bunch of athletes over there.
Yeah, he is, and that positive attitude that he carries, that Nathan, that's amazing right there, right? Like you can tell there's no bad feelings about his fight or anything. I mean, he's all positive. He's all about learning and moving forward. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, 9 out of 10 guys in his shoes, or I guess I should say shorts, in his shorts against Kyle Blinkhorn at ECC 22 would have wilted. They would have found a way out. They wouldn't have been able to do 3 rounds under those conditions under such an accomplished and intense guy as Kyle. So good on Nathan. I'm super excited to see where he's going to go under Paul Abel.
Yeah, can't wait to see it. Can't wait to be there.
Awesome. Rick, I tell you, an hour doesn't take very long to run away from us.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you get 2 women on the show now, there's going to be a lot of extra chatter. Before I just had to put up with you, but
listen, there's only 2 people on this call that wax their bodies, and one of them is not me.
All right.
Oh, I love it.
We'll get into the unibrow conversation again. Boy, that was a hell of an interview. I love it, and I think we're seeing another protege come up through, 19 years old, to be so composed, talk the way he does, be so dedicated to the sport, and to look at the gym that he's coming out of with all of the support. It's pretty exciting stuff. I'm really excited about this show. I love it when the Bucks start saber rattling. It makes me pitch a tent any day. I think we're in for a great show.
Yeah, absolutely. Amy, thank you so much for covering mixed martial arts for us in New Brunswick.
Absolutely.
To kick it all off. And we'll have to make you, obviously, give you your regular slot to fill us in every week or so, or certainly every time they have a card coming up, which seems like it's going to be every 2 months.
That sounds like I'm living the dream.
Keep an eye on what's happening. I tell you.
Absolutely, I'd be more than honored to.
Hey, Amy, I'm kind of confused. I mean, you seem to have a huge following for MMA in New Brunswick, more so than Nova Scotia. What do you attribute that to?
I don't know what it is, because also, not being from here, I just came into it. And I don't know, just the level of trainers we have here, like the coaches, the gyms, it's amazing, the dedication. I don't know if it's something in the water, it's a chocolate river, I don't know what's going on, but it's an amazing thing. I love what we have with it, even with the commission going down and us being more than a year out without a show. It doesn't seem like it's taken away from it at all, which is amazing.
I'm glad to see you
hit
jump
right
on
on
the team.
It's the gym.
On Boyd's boat here and join it. Anybody listening to this show, I know we're going to have a lot of new listeners in New Brunswick because of you folks. Please go to our Facebook page on the BS Show and like the page. It really helps us when we go out for sponsors and that type of thing. And spread the word to your friends, because our whole goal here, Boyd's vision, was to profile these fighters, to help them get some exposure and get exposure for the gyms and put asses in the seats and help grow the sport. So whatever you can do, if you're listening to us for the first time, please spread the word.
Well said, well said.
Good stuff, brother. We don't have our normal producer tonight. We got Carl the Madman running the board instead of Skippy, so I don't know if Carl's going to have our outro music prepared or not, but I'll say the line anyway. That's enough BS for one night. And don't forget to wear your sunscreen. It's a good song. Listen to it. Welcome Amy, you got a BS catchphrase. Are you ready to shoot the... The BS Show would like to thank their sponsors. Jack Cameron, accredited mortgage professional. Jack can show you the way home. Graco Impact Sports, providing top-quality combat sport equipment tested and used by all levels of athletes. Dominate your world. RepoSales.ca, specializing in vehicle and equipment recovery, liquidation, and sales. Hemmings House Pictures, the global movement media makers, helping tell your brand story to the world and accelerate the momentum of your movement. Farmbox Films, capturing stories the way you want to remember them.